Coping with a catastrophic event and learning mental techniques is just as important as knowing the physical skills of survival, such as food or water. Some experience this with alcohol, substance abuse, and mainly illness. To survive, you have to manage your emotions, control your fears, and put your ego into check. Fear can affect a person and their mentality in two ways. The first way are those that let fear take over to the point they are unable to do anything, and the second way is people who let fear drive their actions, causing them to let their adrenaline take over. Those who prepare themselves with training are able to survive both physically and mentally to a stressful situation. Panic attacks, post traumatic disorder, severe depression, suicide, psychotic breaks.
Being told that I have this marker for a cancer that they don't currently have a cure for. I think that's been my greatest challenge. And I think that I'm going to get through it. I don't care what they say. You do what you can with every day that you have, and you always make the best of every single day. And that's a good way to live, because life is truly a gift.
The sudden death of my mom, that was very, very difficult. She was completely healthy and had a massive stroke, which burst a blood vessel in her brain. And so in 24 hours, she was gone. And that, I think, was probably the most difficult thing I've ever been challenged with. There were times I couldn't get out of bed. I stopped going to church.
I don't know really that I could say that it has changed me. I know that it has always kept me humble, you know, truly humble. Having gone through breast cancer and then having to contend with ovarian cancer about five and a half, 6 years later, and knowing that the percentage of women who survive ovarian cancer is 4%. I don't know what I've done to deserve the life that I've been given and the time that I've been given, but so amazingly blessed and so very grateful. I really think it's because of my students and the wonderful faculty, the prayers. That's just everything. It truly is everything.
I think my mom dying so early, at 30, it completely shifted me as a person. So I realized how fast someone can go. I realized how you can't assume that everyone knows how much you love them, because if you don't tell them and you don't spend time with them and they pass away, then they may not know. I realized that depression is very, very scary, and that I was lucky that I had friends that stepped up and really stepped into my life to help me, and it showed me that that's what I need to do with others. So that's why I'm such an involved kind of person with my friends, my family, my students. I think it's important that sometimes someone is willing to get in your face and say, look, you're not acting right and something needs help. Because I think if no one stepped up for me, I don't know what would have happened. So I think it made me a stronger person eventually. It made me a much more aware person of life and death. And it made me appreciate my mother. And I only had her for 30 years, but I am grateful that I had her for those 30 years.
As I'm still going through it, obviously, I just take every moment one day at a time. We don't own tomorrow, we only own today. So every day that I live, I always want to make sure that my students feel that real genuine sense that they are loved, that they are heard, that I have done something to validate who they are, so that when they leave me, I pray that they feel like they've got a lot to be proud of. That's so important.
Well, I didn't at first, and that was the problem. It was about 6 months of really just isolating and becoming more and more depressed and antisocial and cutting people off. And then I had my friends who kept saying, you need to get some help. And my kids were little. My kids were 8 and 4, I think, at the time when she passed away. And, I had to take care of them. So I had to get myself together, and I went into therapy, and I went to the doctors, and I did everything I needed to do to come back to the presence of my life.